Hey, beautiful people. Welcome back to Well with Mika, where we talk real wellness for your real life. I'm Mika, your cultural wellness ally, and today we need to talk. Okay, so a sister friend sent me a video. Maybe you've seen it, or at least you've seen something like it. A woman, she's walking through Aldi specifically. She picks up products and declares almost everything in this store is fake food. Because what? What are her receipts? The labels contain bioengineered ingredients on it. That's what the label says. Contains bioengineered ingredients. So, this set me off, okay? It set me off. I was pissed because this is textbook fear-mongering disguised as consumer advocacy. It's rage bait dressed up as education, and it causes real harm. So I'm not happy about it, all right, to say the least. So let's cut through the noise. Let's talk about what the label actually means, why the video is misleading, and what you should actually pay attention to. So, first, what does contains bioengineered ingredients actually mean? I get why it sounds scary. I mean, like your crackers were assembled in a secret mutant lab, they're about to get legs and walk. But here's what is actually happening. This product contains ingredients from genetically modified crops, most commonly the corn, the soy, the sugar beets, canola, or cottonseed. That label, it became required by the USDA in 2022 as a transparency requirement, not a safety warning. It's the same kind of disclosure as contains milk, right? Or processed in a facility that processes nuts. It's the same thing. And the thing about it is that 90% of corn, soybeans, and sugar beets grown in the US are genetically modified. So if you're eating anything with corn syrup, soybean oil, or regular sugar, it likely contains bioengineered ingredients. That is not an Aldi thing. That's a food system thing. You'd see the same label at Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, Target, Wegmans. I mean, you name it, it's gonna be there. So now, before I break down all that's wrong with the video even more, let me say this. I do want to give her a bit of the benefit of the doubt. I really do. Because honestly, like 10 to 15 years ago, that could have been me when I was first learning about health and nutrition to this, in depth. I came across scary claims all the time and I believed them. These are people with large platforms, books, whatever. I would have said something I would have pointed out similar things to what she's pointing out. Maybe I wouldn't have said it how she said it, but I would have pointed those things out, that thing. And there's this thing about wellness. It's like when you grow, when you learn, when you know better, you do better, you say better. Part of the growth is being willing to look at the actual science, question our assumptions, realize if you lead in with logic or emotion, and stop spreading fear when the evidence just does not support it. So this isn't about dragging her, it's really about dragging the misinformation so we can all do better. Okay, well, it's maybe a little bit about dragging her because she did say Aldi only sells fake foods. Only? Really? As in the entire store? And then proceeds to just pick up all packaged food. That just feels disingenuous. Like, yo, there's a whole produce section right behind you. So turn around, Maybe she should get dragged. I'm just saying, just a little bit. All right. Well, anyway, let's break this down. The five problems about this video is: number one, she confuses a transparency label with a health warning. That bioengineered label is legally required disclosure, not a danger signal. Number two, she only shows highly processed products. Like I said, she's picking up all these packaged products, foods that, of course, contain GMO ingredients, but she ignores the produce, the meat, the dairy, the Aldi's whole organic line that's non-GMO. That is cherry picking to support a narrative to get clicks. That's how I see that. Then she calls it fake food, which is just scientifically inaccurate. Bioengineered ingredients are real ingredients. It's real corn, real soy, real sugar, just with genes tweaked for pest resistance or herbicide intolerance. Calling them fake, that's emotionally loaded language designed to really provoke fear, not really to educate. Then, four, she relies on the fear cues instead of facts, the close ups of the scary label, her tone, zero scientific explanation. And that's the rage bait designed, like I said, for engagement and clicks. It's not really for accuracy. Then she says Aldi only. She's blaming Aldi instead of understanding the whole food system. GMO ingredients are everywhere because they're affordable, consistent, and safe. It wouldn't be everywhere if they weren't safe. Blaming Aldi is like blaming your mechanic because cars need oil changes. And we can't go around doing that. So now, yes, the question is still, so are GMOs actually safe? And according to science, the many organizations, yes, they are, period. Like, I'm not saying that. These are the scientific organizations stating that. And I know we have a distrust of the organizations. But in actuality, their conclusions over thousands of reviewed studies over decades, GMO foods are as safe as conventional foods. That's what it states. There's no credible evidence that GMOs cause cancer, allergies, infertility, or chronic disease. You can have concerns about GMOs for other reasons, like agricultural practices or corporate greed and seed control. Those are definitely valid conversations. But calling GMO foods fake or dangerous to human health, that's the part that's not supported by science. So what's the context? Think of it like this. Every fruit and veggie that we eat, it has kind of already been genetically modified by farmers, by humans, the old school way. So that nice sweet banana that you're used to, that used to be full of these big ass giant seeds. Carrots, they were pale, bitter roots and they tasted like sadness. Watermelons look like cucumbers with commitment issues. Farmers just kept choosing plants that sucked a little bit less until they got to today's versions. So modern genetic engineering it's more precise. Instead of shuffling thousands of genes randomly over decades, hoping for the best, scientists they tweak one or two genes to help plants resist the viruses or reduce pesticide needs. Now, traditional breeding, it's like mixing pages of two books hoping for a good story. While genetic engineering, it's like editing the one sentence while keeping the rest of the book the same. Both of them change the plant. It's just that one is faster and more precise. Now, could that be against your values or your morals? Of course. That's a different conversation. We're talking about if it's safe to eat. Now, this whole claim of fake food, what is fake food? I mean, we can have, I don't know, I think fake food can have a different definition. Some could say if you're selling olive oil that you cut with a cheaper oil and then you sell it as extra virgin olive oil. Now that's just false advertising and that is not the product. So that's a fake olive oil, extra virgin olive oil product. In that case, yeah, we can say that's a fake food. I wouldn't just blanket statement say fake food, but I would say that's a fake olive oil product. Just like with honey that's diluted with corn syrup or parmesan with wood pulp filler. That's more of an egregious offense. Or mislabeled fish. You say this is one type of fish when it's actually another. But something like a GMO tomato, that's still a tomato. GMO corn, that's still corn. So your Aldi tortilla chips, they're not fake. They're corn, oil, and salt. So that brings me to what really makes me angry. Aldi, well, a few things make me angry, you'll hear, but Aldi is known for being affordable. Many of us shop there because number one, we have to, or we just prefer to not have our groceries overpriced. So when someone with a platform calls their products fake food, what does that message really send? What does it tell people, especially the people that cannot afford to shop anywhere else? You're feeding your family something inferior, something dangerous, and you're failing. And I don't like that messaging because that's cruel. It's wrong. It's cruel. Okay? These families, they already deal with food insecurity, time scarcity, and they're stretching every dollar. No one needs to add guilt and fear on top of that, especially when it's not based in action, in facts and science. The real nutritional challenges have nothing to do with whether corn was GMO. They're about access to fresh food, food deserts, and having energy to cook after working long hours or multiple jobs. This rhetoric just creates shame and perpetuates the idea that only expensive, boutique, organic food is real or good enough. That's just food elitism dressed up as wellness advice, and I'm not here for it. And here's what really concerns me. Like I said, a bunch of shit really concerns me, right? When we create panic over something benign like GMOs, it can have real economic consequences. If enough consumers pressure stores like Aldi, let's say, to eliminate their GMO products unnecessarily, what do you think is going to happen? You think the cost of that food is going to stay the same or go down? No, 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 sis. That cost goes up. Non GMO and organic ingredients are more expensive. Now, yes, that is also a systemic issue, but it is the consequence of if we were to pressure these places to stop selling. The prices will rise, and the people who can least afford it, they get hit the hardest. So the fear-based content doesn't just create anxiety, it literally can make affordable nutrition harder to access, and that doesn't help anyone. So what you should actually focus on. If GMOs aren't the problem, what is? Let me tell you what's the biggest thing that jumped out at me in this video. The bigger issue isn't whether your corn had a genetic upgrade. It's how much ultra processed food is in your diet, GMO or not. You picking up a bunch of bags and boxes, that's the problem. Ultra processed foods loaded with added sugars and unhealthy fats throw your omega 3 and omega 6 balance off, increases your inflammation, and basically convinces your body you've been living on a vending machine cuisine, okay? Your vending machine diet is not helping you. That's what impacts health, not whether your soybean oil came from GMO soybean. So the real win isn't panicking about the bioengineered label, it's dialing back packaged foods in general and letting whole foods do their thing. Shop the perimeter. You've heard this advice before. Shop the perimeter, buy more produce, grains, lean proteins, cook at home when you can, and when you do buy packaged foods, which we all do, just be mindful of how often they're showing up on your plate, in your bag, or wherever. That is the actual health advice. No fear required, okay? So what do we do? First, we're going to get clear. GMO foods aren't fake food. They're real food that's been genetically modified, and the science does say that they are safe. Second, recognize that wellness content shaming people or shaming a whole store for their for their economic reality. It's not wellness, it's harm. Real wellness is practical, accessible, and it doesn't require a freaking Whole Foods budget. Third, think critically about content you consume. Ask yourself, who benefits from me fearing affordable food? Is this person citing science or just vibes? Are they showing the full picture or cherry picking? Because the truth is, you can eat bioengineered ingredients and be healthy. You can shop at Aldi and nourish your body. You can feed your family affordably and still do an amazing job. Wellness isn't about perfection or expensive labels. It's about making the best choices with the resources you have, and that is always enough. And understand this, a lot of the times, what the reason why people will trash a store like Aldi, which I used to back in the day, because I'm like, I don't know anything about that store. What's that about? It doesn't look too good from the outside. But what it is that we've become accustomed to this, the appearance, the cosmetic appearance of what our food should look like. We're not close to nature like that. So if the lights aren't bright enough, the food isn't perfect enough, then it's like, I don't want to go there, that's nasty. That, we have to check ourselves, because a blemish on a fruit does not make it bad. If the store is not perfectly cleaned, or set up in the right way like your other stores, like a Whole Foods or a Target, that doesn't mean that the food is no good. It just means that they're not operating on the same system. They don't have the amount of workers that those other foods have, so they can keep the costs low. Those are just things to keep in mind before you start trashing a whole grocery store and shaming a whole set of people who have to shop there. That's just my 2 cents. So the next time you see wellness content that makes you feel scared, guilty, or less than, please pause, okay? Ask yourself if it's actually helping you or just designed for clicks. You deserve better than the fear-based nonsense. You deserve real information that empowers choices for your life. So, friends, beautiful people, if this resonated, please hit that like button, subscribe, drop a comment. Have you seen fear based food content? How did it make you feel? Remember, real wellness is for your real life. You don't need perfection or fancy grocery stores, okay? You just keep showing up for yourself in whatever ways works for you, okay? So, thank you for being here. As always, stay well and happy healthing. Peace.